Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. So I have a Kindle, and I also have Kindle Unlimited, and I almost never use it. So in this vlog, I will be reading at least 3 KU thrillers because I have been super into thrillers lately, and the only one I know for certain that I will be reading is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry, and then everything else is kind of up in the air for this, but I have been recommended The Perfect Child since last year after I read The Push by Ashley Audrain, and I just really like to read about creepy kids, and I heard that this one is amazing. So let's go on this journey together while I actually read books from my Kindle and use Kindle Unlimited and all that stuff and roll the vlog. I'm 25% into The Perfect Child. This book is very long. I'm also reading it with my eyeballs, but I usually start reading at 8 o'clock in the morning and it is almost 11 and I've just now made it to 25%. Also in that time frame, I'm doing other things like taking care of my children and stuff, but it is very long. This is following 2 timelines, which I really like. So the first one is a police investigation, and they are interviewing people about things that have led up to an incident that I am unaware of what that incident is yet. Then we are also following Hannah and Christopher. Hannah is a nurse and Christopher is an orthopedic surgeon at a hospital. And this young child who they think is a toddler has come in completely starved, broken bones all over her body. They think that she is a toddler, like 3 years old. Once she is in surgery, they measure her bones and find out that she is actually 6. But it is apparent that she has been severely abused. Hannah and Christopher are married. They have fertility issues and are unable to have their own children and have been looking into adoption. So once this child, whose name is Kaylee, I can't remember the child's name, I'm so sorry. But the child is ready to get out of the hospital, has no parents. The mother was found dead. So Hannah and Christopher take her in for foster, but not adoption. And this child is not adjusting well. And like I said in my intro, this was recommended to me several times because of how much I loved The Push, and I can definitely see why. This child is less subtle about their acts than in The Push. I felt like The Push was definitely a buildup of the child's behavior, and this one, not really. I can see the direction that this is going already, which I don't think is a bad thing. But the writing is really good. I have not read Lucinda Berry yet, so I am really enjoying my time doing that. And it's actually nice to read with my eyeballs for the first time in a while, but I am enjoying this and I can see why it was recommended to me so many times. I am 67% into The Perfect Child, and I have read 3 books with creepy children now. I've read Baby Teeth, The Push, obviously, and The Perfect Child. And in every single one of them, the creepy child is female, and the father never believes the mother, and it is infuriating because in every single one of these books, the mother is with the child at all points in time. Every single one of these mothers are stay-at-home mothers and just hang out with the child all day, and they're getting injured by the child is injuring other people or other things, and the fathers are gaslighting the mothers, and they're just like, my perfect angel child would never do that. And it is infuriating. Believe women. Anyway, so that's what's happening in The Perfect Child. We are getting to a point in this one where Christopher, I remembered his name. Oh, wow. Christopher is starting to believe Hannah. He is seeing it. Hannah has been injured several times. They also now got pregnant. It was a whole infertility thing in the beginning of this. Something has happened where Kylie, why can't I remember this kid's name? The child is acting out again, and it's very interesting to see the dynamics of this, where other people are now seeing the true colors of whatever this child's name is. I can remember Christopher and Hannah. I can't remember this kid's name. Who's like the main character. Anyway, anywho, I'm really liking this. I really like creepy kids. Like, I really do, because I think it makes me appreciate my non-creepy kids way more. Castman was like, why are you reading about creepy kids? You have kids. And I was like, yeah, but my kids aren't creepy, which is the important part. So I'm really liking this one. I'm really liking it. Hey, I'm editing this video. I didn't do an introduction. I didn't do an update for The Perfect Child. I don't know if I didn't do an update for anything else, so stay tuned. But I finished The Perfect Child months ago, and I gave it 5 stars. I didn't like the ending, and it almost made me put it down to 4 stars, but I liked the rest of the book so much that the ending didn't matter to me. And I started following Lucinda Berry on TikTok, and she's writing a sequel to The Perfect Child. It doesn't have a title yet, but it's coming out in August, and I will be downloading it that day and reading it that day, because The Perfect Child is still fresh in my mind, and I know exactly how it ended. And like I said, I didn't really like the ending, but now that I know that there will be a sequel, and hopefully it picks up right where the ending left off, I am super excited about this. And this was like a 5-star all the way through, and I know that endings are really important to me, but like, even without knowing that there was going to be a sequel, I still gave it 5 stars. The ending wasn't my favorite, but it didn't matter because I love the rest of the book so much, and now I know that there will be a sequel. So absolutely love this one. Do recommend The Perfect Child. There are trigger warnings for so much shit. Like, please look at the trigger warnings. I want to recommend this to you if you like creepy kids, but I need you to know and go in prepared. If you need trigger warnings, go in looking at the trigger warnings. But Lucinda Berry, I love her. I am reading Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry, which is the same author of The Perfect Child, and I didn't mean to do that, but as soon as I finished The Perfect Child, this book came up as someone had just read on Goodreads, and I obviously immediately recognized the author, and I was like, well, okay, I can read 2 Lucinda Berries for this Kindle vlog. There are no rules. It is my video. So that's what I'm doing. This book is hard. It's very dark. So I feel comfortable telling you what is happening in the first 25% because I don't feel like anything in the first 100 pages is a spoiler. So we are following this mother, the mother of Noah, and he, during swim lessons, molested several girls, and it's awful. Like, that's how it begins. But what's even more awful is the parents of Noah just like flat out told the parents of these girls, and they were like, we're so sorry, we'll pay for your therapy and stuff, but like didn't hold Noah accountable, and were just like, boys will be boys and all that bullshit that I absolutely hate. And obviously now the parents of the girls put charges against him, and we are following like 18 months later. Now Noah is getting out of a rehabilitation center for juveniles with sexual predator charges. So that is where I am in the first 25%, and as a woman, I am like, this is like, please look at trigger warnings for this one. I went in completely not knowing anything. And also as a mother of 2 boys, once again, this is very rough. It reminds me of A Darker Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. Girl Made of Stars is a YA novel that deals with twins, and they're boy-girl twins, and the main character's brother is like raped her best friend, and it is also very heavy. So this is like the adult version of that kind of. Like, I definitely see the similarities with that. But instead of following the sister of the twin, we are following the mother of the boy who molested the girls. And it is rough. I thought The Perfect Child was dark. The Perfect Child is nothing compared to this. Like, creepy children, whatever. But like, sexual assault, hard to read. I finished Saving Noah, and I have a lot of conflicting feelings about this book. I'm not sure what Lucinda Berry wanted me to feel, and maybe that is the whole concept of this book, because I personally never felt bad for Noah. But there was a twist towards the end, which I loved immensely, and I feel like this was going to be a solid 3 until we got to that twist, which, if you know me, endings are really important for me in books, especially in thrillers. Like, they make it or break it for me. But I ended up giving this 4 stars. This was so dark, like way darker than any of like the horror that I read or anything like that. And I think it's just because of the subject matter of this one. I would go into this one knowing triggers if you need any kind of trigger warnings, because there are so many for this one. It was dark from start to finish. Like, there was no respite, but I ended up still enjoying it. But I personally did not feel bad for Noah. I am not sure if we're supposed to feel bad for Noah. I'm thinking no, and I didn't. But I did like the twist at the end. So 4 stars for Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. I feel like I really like Lucinda Berry a lot. However, I am not going to put Saving Noah on my wish list for the physical book. I just don't think I could read this again. Like, I'm glad I read it, but I would not like to read it again. So that's how I feel about this one. I recommend it, but not to everyone. It's a very difficult one. I am 26% into The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is my first Frida McFadden, basically because it is very popular right now is the reason that I picked this up. This is giving me Hidden Pictures vibes, just with the premise of there is this girl who has like nowhere to go and is given this opportunity to live with this family. And that's the same concept as Hidden Pictures, but this is a little different in that, at least so far, this isn't a horror, but the main character Millie is dealing with the woman of the household who is undeniably a little unstable. The first time she met her, I think her name is Nina, she went to the house and the house was immaculate and everything was great. And then after Millie gets hired, she goes to the house again and everything is trashed. Like, the house is completely a mess. So she cleans it up and it takes her like all day. And the next like meeting with Nina lost something and is like tearing apart the kitchen again. So there's been a couple other things that Nina has done to Millie that has like made me a little unsettled, and like me, I would have left the job, but because Millie is living in her car and has nowhere to go, it makes sense that she is, you know, sticking it out because she gets to live with this family. So that is the same concept as Hidden Pictures, but everything else is super different so far. So I am liking it. It's definitely like made me a little bit unsettled because Nina is just like, what is Nina going to do next to Millie? And like, Millie is trying to handle it the best they can. Oh, we also find out that the reason Millie is living in her car is that she was in prison for 10 years. So she's a little bit of like an unreliable narrator because I still don't know why she was in prison. So that's interesting, and that's why she's having like such a hard time finding jobs. So she like needs to stay in this job. So, but so far I'm liking it. Yeah. So I'm 63% into The Housemaid, and it's so funny because around 50% I was going to update this vlog and say that I'm a little bored. And then I got to part 2, which was like 59%. So at part 2, things have definitely changed. I can't say that I knew it was going to happen for sure what has happened, but I was getting the idea of it. So now we are on someone else's perspective, and it's really, really interesting. I am liking it. I'm not like loving it, like I'm not completely obsessed with it, but it is definitely good. So yeah, I mean, it's good. This is good. I finished The Housemaid. This was my first Frida McFadden. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I feel like I have read better thrillers than this one, and that is why I'm giving it 4 stars. Like, the people who are obsessed with it, I get it, but I personally was not obsessed with it. However, I will be reading the second one for this vlog because it just makes sense. I liked it enough to continue on, and it just makes sense to read the second one for this vlog, so I will be doing this. The reason I'm giving it 4 stars, besides the fact that I've read better thrillers, is because I thought that the first 60%, I think is what I said, was very meh. And then it took, sorry about Theo, it took over 60% for me to be like really invested. And endings are really important for me, and I felt like the ending was just like, okay. So like, I feel very meh about this, honestly, but 4 stars feels right. I feel like 3 is too low. So 4 stars for The Housemaid, and I will be reading The Housemaid, whatever that title is, I'll let you know. I am 25% into The Housemaid's Secret. This is the sequel to The Housemaid, in case you couldn't figure that out. We are following Millie a couple years after what had happened in the first book, which I will not say because I will not spoil anything. But she, in the very first chapter, she just got fired from another job. She is struggling. So she has just gotten another housekeeping job with this very rich family in it's this husband and wife in Manhattan, and things are weird. The wife is very sick and hasn't left the room ever. Like, Millie has never seen her. But in this book, Millie has a boyfriend, and we have learned about an ex-boyfriend, and she's in college. So like, she's trying to get her life together and all this stuff. But honestly, 25% in, not much has happened for me to talk about, but I always check in at 25%, so I'm doing that. But like, nothing of note has really happened that like I feel like I could talk about without spoiling anything, especially because this is a sequel, and that's hard to do because I don't want to spoil the first one. So I'm having a hard time doing this with this one. But no thoughts, empty head, with the sequel 25% in. It is a book that I'm reading so far. Millie is still annoying. I just like don't like Millie. So I once again got to part 2 in a Frida McFadden book, and it completely changed like the tone of the book again. And just like with The Housemaid, I wasn't really liking it. Like, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? This isn't great, like very mediocre. And now that we've hit part 2, now I'm invested. So like, Frida McFadden is very, very good at keeping you into the story, because I was like, well, I've made it 50%. I can count this as read. But no, because of what just happened, I will be continuing on reading. So it's good. Okay. I finished The Housemaid Secret. I was gonna say The Housemaid Returns. That is incorrect. I finished The Housemaid Secret. And like I said in my last clip, it was okay until we got to the second part, which is exactly how it was with the first one. But I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. And it's because of the ending. Like, I did not see the ending coming, but I feel like I can't give these books 5 stars because the first 60% is so boring. And then at 60% is when the twist happens, and then everything changes. So 4 stars for The Housemaid's, what is it called? Secret? Oh my god. What? Okay. However, I cannot stop thinking about Saving Noah, and I have decided to give Saving Noah 5 stars. And even though I've only read 2 of Lucinda Berry's books, I consider her one of my favorite authors right now. Like, I started following her on Twitter. Nope. On TikTok. I'm having a day. I'm so sorry. Started following her on TikTok, and I really, really like the 2 books that I've read. Like, they are very twisted thrillers, which is what I really, really like. So I consider Lucinda Berry like a must read for me, and I have downloaded 2 more of her books and I am very excited to get into them. So this is the end of this video. This is 4 KU thrillers that I have read. I definitely recommend Lucinda Berry if you are into like darker thrillers. And I honestly thought the Housemaid series was good, but I also don't think that they're like anything spectacular. Like a lot of reviews that I have seen, like they were just good to me. So thanks for watching my video. See you in my next one. Bye.
Losing time, I'm fading fast.